Notre Dame, Colorado, Michigan, and the Cincinnati Bengals all go down this week. Dak Prescott gets the largest NFL contract in history, and more on the Season Ticket Podcast.
And no one is going to catch him. 83 yards.
Down on the move. Touchdown, Texas.
And this one is blocked by Northern Illinois. Uh-oh. And now they're on the return. Let's it go to the sideline. Big six. They call it the battle. Cardinals won, and now gets to the end zone. What a run. It's Jeter, and that's blocked at the line of scrimmage. And the Huskies are celebrating the biggest upset in their school's history.
So college highlights this week. We had Notre Dame playing Northern Illinois. So we'll just start. So Notre Dame had to pay Northern Illinois $1.4 million just to play the game, just for them to play the game. Northern Illinois was plus 28.5. That's how much of an underdog they were. And they went on to beat Notre Dame 16-14. They blocked 2 field goals. And on top of it, Notre Dame's starting quarterback is injured for possibly the year with his non-throwing labrum. Michigan gets beat down by Texas. We predicted that last week on the show. I had them as they were -7, and they lost. Michigan was 31-12. Quinn Ewers was 24 out of 36, had 246 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's currently my personal favorite for the Heisman Trophy this year. We'll get into that a little bit later. Colorado is absolutely crushed by Nebraska, completely physically dominated. 28-10. Nebraska was -7 for that game. That was another prediction, another victory on my bets last week. Shiloh Sanders is out for the season post game. He has a broken forearm. He will not return this year, most likely. I don't know if you caught it. I don't know what you think. I know I had a pretty strong take on Shedeur Sanders last week. Then this week they get smacked and he leaves the game with 2 minutes left. No injury reported. He just left the game, I guess apparently upset. He was replaced on the field. But did you see that at all?
No, he was injured. He was hurt.
What was the injury? Because I didn't see any reports.
He was
I didn't
hurt.
see any reports of him being injured.
Dude, he was hurt. He was hurt. He was.
What was the injury? Did you catch it?
I don't know what the injury was. He was
You have
hurt though, dude.
a phantom injury?
They-
His feelings were hurt.
Dude, he was hurt. All right,
He knew we were going to talk about him. That's why.
Bleacher Report says that he was injured, but it doesn't say what the injury was. So, but he was
Exactly.
hurt, dude. You gotta
Yeah. Sometimes the scars on the inside are the most painful. I know. I get it. Yeah. So we also had. I made a pick last week. I knew I took Boise. They were plus 19 going to Oregon. That was a heck of a game. Actually, Boise State was winning that game most of the game, and then Oregon came back and won with a field goal. So 37-34 after trailing most of the game. Running back Ashton Jeanty. That's the running back's name. He had 192 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's a Boise State running back. He's pretty good. So we'll jump into the short list, the Heisman short list. Now I said I have Quinn Ewers, of course. I like Quinn Ewers. He looked like a pro quarterback to me. He was making good throws, making decisions when to throw the ball away. He moved well in the pocket. He played big time competition, and really part of it's my Heisman prediction because he's in the SEC and he's going to play some big time teams. Some of these other quarterbacks, Cam Ward's on the list. I like Cam Ward. I do think that he can go undefeated and get in the tournament. but they don't really play anybody. So I mean, I think when we're picking the Heisman, it's you kind of got to look at the competition. I mean, there's some inflated stats a lot of times. But that running back Ashton Jeanty, the running back for Boise State, he has 9 touchdowns in 2 games so far, and he made it look like, I mean, that was the reason that Boise State competed against Oregon. I don't know who do you have for the Heisman shortlist? Do you have a Heisman shortlist or no?
Yeah, I got Quinn Ewers on there. Um, like you said, he had a big game versus Michigan. But their next two games, they play UTSA and Louisiana Monroe. So like he should be able to pad the stats during those games, right?
Oh yeah,
How do you
I
feel about
think
that?
it's like it's over 30. I think it's 35 in fact.
Yeah, and then
So
Cam Ward, the same thing, dude. They play Ball State and USF, and I think the spread for Ball State is like 36 and a half points. So,
yeah, but eventually Texas is going to have to play. They're going to have to play SEC teams. So I mean, now that kid Jinty that's playing for Boise State. I mean, I think they're playing. They're in the Pac-12. What's left of the Pac-12, I think. So I don't know. I don't really know what that. I have to look at their schedule. But I mean, 9 touchdowns in 2 games so far. That's pretty wild. Of course they lost. They lost. They have one loss now, and they're not ranked. So,
mm,
but
I like
but
that.
I mean,
I have that guy Kyle McCord on my list too from Syracuse.
oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. They just knocked off Georgia Tech last week.
Yeah,
People weren't expecting that. They kind of Ohio State. If you didn't know, he was Ohio State's quarterback last year,
yeah,
and they tossed him out with the bathwater. So, um,
that dude. He
but
had
yeah,
4 touchdowns the first game, 4 touchdowns the second game.
yeah. Boston College is going to have to play Syracuse if I'm not mistaken. And now we'll get into this. So the new teams added to the top 25. Texas is now number 2. They leapfrog Ohio State. Boston College is finally in the top 25. They're at number 24. Northern Illinois, they're at 25. Apparently they look pretty good. My dad, I didn't get to see the game. My dad watched the game. He said they look pretty strong. He said some nice things about them. Now Missouri's up to number 6, and they play BC this week. In Missouri. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I have they're part of my predictions. I have some. We obviously have some hot takes that we're going to bet on this week, and we'll share that with you later on the show. But moving on to the NFL highlights, we can add Jeff now.
Let's bring in Jeff. Jeff from backstage.
What's going on,
Yeah.
man?
All right, Jeffrey Days from over there in Fort Lauderdale. Now, Jeff, who do you got? Who do you got this week in the NFL? We're moving on to the NFL. Who do you got for the biggest winners and losers of Week 1 NFL?
Oh man, my biggest winners. I'm definitely gonna have to go with the Houston Texans, man. They were pretty much the only team to win in the division this week. A great home, not a great home victory, but a great road win over the Colts. Um, CJ Stroud, man, bro, 234 yards. They got the new addition to Joe Mixon. He gave them a buck 60 on the ground. Oh, not to mention, bro, he was absolutely abusing Colts safety Nick Cross every time I seen him, man. So they're pretty much gonna have a field day with that dude in the highlight room. They're gonna have a field day with that guy. You got Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs, who hasn't got it going yet. But I like what the Texans have over there, bro. They have a lot of weapons over there, bro. They had Nico Collins. I think he gave them another buck 20 in the air. The Texans are really a team to be dealt with this year, bro. The AFC really has a problem. Once they get all those weapons going, Joe Mixon, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, like, bro, they have a lot to work with over there.
Yeah, they played the Colts. The Colts are a pretty damn good team. I mean, Anthony Richardson before he got hurt last year was pretty good. D'Amico Ryans is a head coach for the Texans too. He's been a pretty impressive guy, man. He looks like he's definitely steering the ship in the right direction.
No, for
But
sure.
but we'll so the biggest loser, one of the biggest losers of the week. We'll talk about the Browns and how they helped the Texans uh, build their organization, because remember they're getting 3 first-round draft picks for Deshaun Watson. 3 first-round draft picks. Talk about buyer's remorse. That's probably the worst deal in NFL history. Uh,
They're still
and
paying for that.
Still paying for it, man. And so all that being said, as one of the my biggest loser of the week is probably the Browns, based off. And then you got the new stuff coming out just today about another Deshaun Watson allegation. The NFL said until they go to court and something gets settled in court, they're not going to take any action. However, um, there there is a couple reports saying that they're almost curious about the allegation since he had such a bad week, because that's the only thing that can void his contract. Remember, before Dak Prescott's massive contract, uh, the biggest contract ever is Deshaun Watson's contract, fully guaranteed.
Yeah, for
Even
sure.
Dak Prescott's contract isn't even fully guaranteed. I mean, it's 231 million out of 240 million dollars guaranteed, but which is still pretty damn good. It's nothing to sneeze at, of course, but he's not Dak Prescott, and he didn't look like the Deshaun Watson that played in Houston. So,
No, man, I don't know what's going on with Deshaun, bro. Like, I really just can't put my finger on it, bro. You have Amari Cooper out there, you have Jared Judy. Like, man, I don't get it. You also have Njoku, man. He did go down. I think it was maybe the second quarter. I know because he was on my fantasy team. So I right now I'm looking for a
yeah,
tight end because of this guy.
yeah,
But I mean,
yeah.
Deshaun Watson has the weapons. So I mean, I really just can't understand it.
Yeah, I had my biggest winner was probably the Detroit Lions. It's always a tough game when you play a quarterback like Matt Stafford, who used to play for you, of course, and they have. I don't want to call it a rivalry because I don't think there's any really animosity there. But Jared Goff obviously got canned from
Yeah,
the
for
Rams, and
sure.
then they trade quarterbacks, and then of course Stafford goes on to win a Super Bowl. Now the Lions got a little bit of revenge on them. They beat them last year by one in the playoffs, and they moved on. But still, the Lions look like a Dan Campbell product. Dan Campbell definitely looks like a man's man kind of dude. That is how he carries himself, and they just muscled the ball down the field in overtime, and just like David Montgomery just imposed his will on them,
He's my
man. He looked
fantasy
like a
back.
freaking yeah. Good for you, man, because that dude's a freaking. He looked like a pure dude in overtime. That was a big
Listen,
win. That was
I really
Sunday
needed
night
him
win.
too,
So
man. He came in clutch in that overtime. But you have the
yeah, for
Lions,
sure.
man. Listen, so to piggyback off of that, I'm gonna go with my biggest losers, and it's gonna happen to be my Green Bay Packers, man. We lost. First of all, we're the only team to not get a win in the division this week. We're the only team. Second of all, we lost Jordan Love on a play, 5 seconds left in the game, a play that had absolutely no chance. I don't know what we plan to do this week. I don't know if we plan to call Brett Favre out of retirement or what, but we definitely took a big hit this week. We have a new defensive coordinator. Our freaking defensive line still can't stop a nosebleed. I can pretty much fit an 18 wheeler through the hole that they was opening up for Saquon. I don't even know if the new addition of Saquon was mainly him or just the big holes his offensive line was opening up because pretty much anyone could have ran through those holes. So I don't know, bro. Like it's hard.
Well,
I have to wait till Saquon plays another team before I give him credit, man. Because
I don't know. The Eagles have invested in their offensive line quite a bit. So I mean, I know they had the Alabama product out of there. That I think it's Landon something. He's on the offensive line. He's a big time guy. He played alongside Kelsey. Of course, Kelsey's probably going to go down as one of the best centers ever to play. So they lost him, but they also have Landon Dickinson. That's who it is. Anyway, I have also it's a big win for the Pats. I mean, a lot of people counting the Pats out. They had the third most cap space left. I always say if you have a ton of cap space left, are you really trying to win a Super Bowl? That's obviously the goal for every season is to win a Super Bowl. So some of these teams still have a ton of cap space, and I don't understand why. Um, there's still
mm,
players out there, but I don't know. As much as the Patriots are a big winner in Week 1, I think the Bengals are one of the biggest losers. Joe Burrow, obviously, you saw there's pictures of him walking the catwalk and doing some modeling stuff in Paris, France, in the offseason. He shows up. He looks like Marshall Mathers for training camp. You got Now you got a couple. You got T Higgins. Obviously, he got franchise tag. He's not happy. He talked about holding out, and now he has a mysterious.
He
He
was
didn't
injured.
play.
He was out for the first
Yeah,
week.
yeah. Of course he was. Of course he was. Just like Russell Wilson was hurt, right? It's the easiest way to solve the problem. And Jamar Chase was talking about holding out just this week too. So now there's a lot of distractions in that Cincinnati Bengals locker room. Say what you will. I think that they're not they're either going to get it together or they're not, because You look at good teams like the San Francisco 49ers last night, they did their thing, but they had some holdouts. They had Brandon Ayuk holding out. They had Trent Williams potentially
Actually
holding out.
missed
And
a
so,
key end zone pass too. So maybe it was just
yeah,
knocking off the camp rust or what.
yeah, I don't know. And so, but you saw that the Niners locked all that up. They gave the guys the money, they paid them. They didn't want that distractions to continue through the season, and that's not the case over there in Cincinnati. Cincinnati played just a few years ago. They were in the Super Bowl, so I don't know what they're doing.
Hey,
I'm not
listen, man.
sure.
I hear you, bro, but check it. Those two guys, Brennan Ayuk, Jamar Chase, neither one of them performed. Jamar Chase gave
Mm,
what? He gave us 60 yards. 60 yards. You're talking all this.
yeah,
You want this big contract. You want to be paid well over Justin Jefferson, and you didn't do anything. You lost to the
yeah.
Patriots.
Well,
It's their
well,
first
I
year.
don't.
It's their first year head coach, Gerard Mayo. He goes out. He gets a win over you. You go out and you put up 60 yards. You're talking all this talk. You have to perform, bro. It's your home opener. You're at home. Why do we only have 60
No.
yards from you at home?
Well, you gotta remember too. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs lost the first game of the season last year. They had a holdout too, a pretty significant holdout there on defensive line, and they turned it around. They won a Super Bowl, and so what are you going to do? But take a look at the San Diego Chargers. I think the San Diego Chargers are another big winner. Obviously, brother John once again gives some help to his brother. You got Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins coming straight off of the Baltimore Ravens over there to San Diego to brother Jim,
John
just like he
Harbaugh,
did
man,
when
he's a good dude.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sure his brother's singing his praises because he had a hell of a Dobbins had a hell of a week. Um, Dobbins had almost 150 yards and a touchdown, and he looked pretty good coming off his knee injury. But just like he did after the Super Bowl, he felt bad. He beat his brother in the Super Bowl. He gave him Anquan Bolden after that, probably one of our best wide receivers ever, for a 6th-round draft pick because he hurt his brother's feelings. So I don't know if his mom and dad made him do it or what, but it looks like that's what's going on again. Um, Whatever. So, uh, so what players do you think had the biggest impact of Week 1 in the NFL?
Oh man, I'm gonna go with Jameson Williams, bro. Man, Jameson Williams, he just performed. He's been pretty much injured. He hasn't really had a breakout season since he got over there in Detroit. But I tell you what, man, he had 5 catches for a buck 20. He had a TD and an overtime thrilling win. This was his breakout game. I expect a big season from him this year. I expect a big season from him. I don't know what's been going on these last 2 years since he's been over there. Like I said,
Well, he
maybe
got suspended. He was suspended, I think, for a year, wasn't he?
for a year.
If I'm not
No,
mistaken, I believe
it
the
was
first year he was either suspended.
for a year. I could be wrong, but I don't think it was a full year. But
It was a significant one.
nevertheless, man, he's been used on like a lot of jet sweeps and stuff, man. I thought it was going to pretty much just be a jet sweep receiver, but they found a way to get the rock to him. So I mean,
Yeah.
this was definitely a breakout game for him. So I can't really see him regressing the rest of this year. I had St. Brown on my fantasy, bro. He didn't give me anything, so I don't know if
Uh,
Jamison
well,
Williams is going to be taking those catches from him or what. But
yeah.
Detroit has a lot,
Watch it.
bro. Detroit has a
Yeah,
lot of
watch.
offense over there too.
Yeah, I was watching the game though that they made a comment about that St. Brown wasn't as productive. They thought because they kept putting him on the outside. Now the Rams lost one of their top corners that the same week, so I don't know if that was the mindset is that they wanted to match him up against someone who is maybe find a mismatch. But St. Brown usually goes in the slot. That's where he was the most productive. So they were talking about why is he not going in the slot? Why is he not going to do what he did last year? So we'll see. He made some good plays. He didn't make a great catch across the middle. I don't know if you saw that play, but he kind of tripped and fell. And then he jumped up, and then the ball was clearly going in the defender's hands, and he fucking was able at the last second to
Yeah,
swat
yeah,
it out of
yeah,
the air.
yeah. He actually tripped
And
and
that,
fell, and he
and,
saved the interception. Yeah,
I mean that was still a big effort. So he's
effort
still
doesn't
doing
get
his
you
thing.
fantasy points, man.
But yeah, for sure. But I still think that I still think it's just week 1. These may be overreactions. I don't know. I don't think it depicts the whole season. There's plenty of teams who lost games that are going to be in the playoffs. So
Most certainly.
my biggest guy, my most impactful player this week was T.J. Watt for sure. He wrecked my weekend when he I bet.
Hey, we lost you, Jerry. We
Yeah.
lost you,
So
man.
sorry about
There
that.
you go.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. TJ Watt, he had 2 tackles for loss. He had 1 fumble recovery and 1 sack. Now, he had 2 other strip sacks, and those plays were called back by penalties. But he was a constant disruption the whole entire game. I don't know what the game plan was for the Falcons, but if you spend the money, on Kirk Cousins coming off an Achilles injury, the last thing you want to see is what happened to him during that game. He's not a guy that can run for his life. Of course. So TJ Watt is an edge rusher, and how do you fix that? You have to be a little bit more mobile in the pocket, step up in the pocket. But speaking of that, watching Lamar Jackson the other night, Chris Jones he's an honorable mention for sure, because Chris Jones, he destroyed the pocket from the middle of the line. He was like basically just driving the center of the pocket into Lamar Jackson. He was on the move all night. Everyone's saying, "Oh, Lamar, he's got to take it easy," and the guy had no other choice. Like, he didn't have a choice. And then another one I want you guys to listen to. So another honorable mention I have is offensive tackle Tyler Guyton. He's from the Dallas Cowboys. Now, he's a rookie. He came out of Oklahoma. He has some really good film. Of course, everybody that makes it to the league probably has good film. But he matched up with Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett, who had a fairly quiet day. He only had 4 pressures and 1 sack. And for a guy like Myles Garrett, who's used to having days like TJ Watt did, that's pretty good. That's a good sign, especially if you just signed a massive deal with Dak Prescott. So I think that's a good look. There's a few things, and so Tyler Guyton was a big one. I don't know if you guys heard the name DeMarvion Overshawn. He's a linebacker, 2nd-year linebacker. He was literally, his instincts and his speed on the field were really impressive. So when you watch that Saints game, not to be a spoiler, but on the next couple segments, we're going to talk about bets. That's one of the big reasons that I'm taking Dallas this week. So that kid
So you
Overshawn. Then
rolling
you
with the
then the
Cowboys?
addition.
Why?
Then
Because
yeah.
Dak's paid and happy, so is CD Lamb. Is that why?
Well, CeeDee Lamb look. CeeDee Lamb did what CeeDee Lamb's supposed to do. So did Dak. I mean, but that kid Overshawn was big time. Of course, you got their punt returner, kick returner there, Turpin. He's fast, dude. He had a return.
Yeah, dude.
You had Eric Kendricks. You added Eric Kendricks from the Vikings. Eric Kendricks is a Pro Bowl caliber player. Overshawn in the 2nd year, dude, he was flying, dude. He was beating Micah Parsons, who is super fast. He was beating Micah Parsons to the ball. And so we'll see. I think Dallas, it is Super Bowl or bust for them, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's
What else is
definitely
new?
gonna be a bust because I don't see it, bro.
Yeah, what else is new?
Well, we'll see. But I think they've put themselves in a situation with the contracts that they've done, because remember, they got Micah Parsons on a rookie deal. So if you're going to pay Mike, how are you going to pay Micah Parsons when you're paying all these other guys?
um,
I need Michael Parsons to step up in the big games, man. Like Michael
Um,
Parsons does his things all season, bro. I have not had one single productive playoff game from Michael Parsons. None.
well,
He has to step up, bro. Those big games, he's not stepping up. Like I
yeah,
understand, hey, listen, he's doing his thing in those other 12 games or so, bro. We need you in the big ones, the ones that matter.
yeah. What about now? Since you're a fantasy guy, obviously this affects fantasy, and it's going to affect guys betting. What do you have for notable injuries? So now I only have one. I just read about that I know we talked earlier. You have this basically the same ones as me, but Kyle Van Noy, who Baltimore kept Kyle Van Noy. They had a decision to make, Kyle Van Noy or Jadeveon Clowney. Now they decided to keep Kyle Van Noy. He's out indefinitely with an orbital fracture from that game against the Chiefs. So that's obviously a big loss. But I did not think they were going to keep Van Noy over JD Clowney. Clowney said nothing but good stuff. So did the organization,
Yeah, for
and now
sure.
he's in Carolina. But yeah, not what I expected, and of
Yeah, I
course,
don't know what
not what the
happened
front
there.
office wants to see. But yeah, who do you have for notable injuries?
So at the top of the list, I definitely have Jordan Love because that's my Packers. So I have Jordan Love. He pretty much has a sprained MCL. He's going to be out 4 to 5 weeks, 6 weeks at the max. We actually thought we were going to lose him for the season when I first saw it, but it's a mild injury, 4 to 6 weeks. The Rams, man, the Rams took a big hit. Wide receiver Puka Nakua, he went down on a non-contact injury. He actually caught the ball on like a quick slant, went to the ground, and He ended up being carted off. So I don't even know what was going on with that. He has a sprained PCL. They're saying pretty much 4 to 6 weeks for him. He's on IR himself. And then my last notable one, I have David Njoku. He's on my fantasy team. He's pretty much week to week. He has a high ankle sprain. This guy, oh my gosh. Those are my three big notable injuries that I have for this week, man. So if you have David Njoku on your fantasy, man, I think you guys need to go ahead and look into a backup or get someone else
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I think Jake Ferguson, another one, tight end for the Cowboys. I don't know if you mentioned him, but he's another one. That's going to be. He played pretty well too, but he was out. He's out for sure. So I already kind of thought that was maybe an element that they were missing. I know you guys saw. What do you guys think of Ezekiel Elliott coming back?
That's my fantasy back. I have
Is that
Ezekiel.
Ezekiel Elliott? Oh,
Yeah,
really?
man.
He looked. He looked.
I
He
got
looked
stuck for
okay.
Zeke. He looked okay,
Um,
man. He didn't look overweight like he's been looking these last couple of years. He looked okay. I mean, he's rocking the number 15. Looked a little
yeah.
crazy in the backfield, but I mean, whatever. What are you gonna do?
Hey, he still got a touchdown, didn't he? Did he get two? He got one, at least one for
Yeah, he
sure,
got
right?
one.
Hey, well, I mean, he's putting points on the board. What? So now, okay, I got some for you, Maul. What did you think about Tom Brady as an announcer?
Uh, I think he sucked, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think he's an announcer personally.
I think.
He doesn't have that Tony Romo.
Yeah.
Dude,
I think.
everybody said that.
I
That's what
think Tony
everybody's out.
Romo's.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was like,
Tony
I'm a
Romo
Tom
can
Brady
actually
fan,
say
dude.
he's
I'm
better
a
than
huge Tom
Tom
Brady
Brady or
fan,
something.
so I
yeah.
can.
Well, I mean, I kind of expected more because I've been watching a lot of reels. If you guys have time, watch some reels. The Edelman reels, Edelman and Gronk's reels are hilarious. And then hearing Bill Belichick's on like the Pat McAfee show a lot now. Uh, these dudes are hilarious. So I'm kind of thinking like Tom Brady's gonna be funny or he's gonna like be
Uh,
good TV. Like, no, he wasn't any of that. No, he was none of that stuff.
yeah, he's.
Uh, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the new kickoff?
Oh man, so let me give you my take on it. Um, Something has to be done, bro. I understand it. Listen, let me tell you why though. I understand player safety, but you have to understand, bro. It's players that made a career from kickoffs, just special
Yep.
Yeah,
teams.
special
You
teamers.
have
Yep.
Devin Hester, you have Dante Hall. Not even just considering just the returners, bro. Look at the people who are used as gunners. They've literally made a team strictly off special teams. I remember we had a cornerback for the Green Bay Packers named Jarrett Bush. He was a key gunner for us, bro. He was our special teams captain. John Kuhn was on our special teams. Um,
Yeah,
bro, like you can't take away that effect. Some of those people have like jobs; they make a literally living off of special teams. So at this
yeah, and
point,
not
if you're going to take away, if you want to increase the safety and go with the new kickoff, we need to at least move it back to the 45. Like move the kicker back some because they have
yeah,
this landing zone. The ball is never landing in the landing zone. The kicker is kicking it
yeah,
into the stands every time. Every time they kick the
yeah,
ball up, I saw some kid catching the new football. So I mean, we need to move
yeah,
it back at some point.
yeah. What was I gonna
The
say?
NFL
Yeah.
gave away 100 footballs this past weekend.
What do you guys think about where the one? There's a couple guys wore the caps this week too. You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
those
about? Those
those
safety
those
caps,
ugly behind guardian caps, man.
the
Like,
Guardian caps. Yeah.
yeah, bro. Like, what's up with these guardian caps, bro?
I
They're
mean,
these big behind cloths sitting on the helmet. It's like, come on, bro.
I never
Mm.
played in the NFL. I imagine you could definitely get your bell rung. Maybe that's what it is. I wouldn't wear it if I'll say I wouldn't wear it now, but I also haven't got my bell rung in the NFL. But
Bro,
uh,
they have some of the
yeah.
most advanced helmets technology can possibly make in the year of 2024. What more can this elastic piece add to safety, bro? I mean, bro,
I
come on,
mean,
man. Is that much more of a difference?
I think it's like I've never felt it. I guess one of the way I picture it's like a little sandbags on your head is kind of how I picture it. It's not the same as like the hard plastic, crunching, the metal face mask and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think. I think obviously it definitely is probably effective for you not to get a concussion or at least soften the blow, but
I don't
uh,
know, bro. I just
it's
feel
got to be
guardian
I
caps.
would imagine it's a little heavier, right? I think it's
Nah,
probably a little heavier.
they said they're pretty light.
No, bro, they're
It's really
lightweight, bro. You
lightweight.
probably barely feel them.
Is it just like
But
foam? Maybe I don't know.
I think
yeah,
guardian caps need to
it's
stick to practice or 7-on-7s, bro. Like I just don't think they need to be in the game, man. At this point, we might as well start playing two-hand touch. Like we can't do crackbacks. You can't hit a receiver that's defenseless. You can't hit them too low. You can't hit them too high. We got guardian caps in. Like at this point, bro, it is really going to be hard for anybody on defense to make a name, honestly. So if you're an upcoming football player, you're playing little league, you're playing high school, you might as well go to offense because the game is getting so tailored to just offense. Like I don't even understand why people are still playing defense at this point.
Oh yeah, it's they're definitely affecting every year. Every year we're starting to get pissed off about something they're taking away from the game that we loved. So hopefully, I mean, so just because they have a competition committee doesn't mean they have to make a new rule every year. I mean, some years they can just say, "Hey, man, it was a pretty good year last year." I mean, but there's going to be injuries, especially when you guys have guys that big, that fast, that strong. There's going to be injuries, and so there's no 100% way to prevent
I
that. You
mean,
just can't.
they
You
care
can't
about
take
injuries.
away.
They care about injuries so much. Why haven't they made any changes to the grass? Why are we still having all these knee
Yeah,
injuries?
well,
I
that's a
mean,
good question.
they talked about the AstroTurf back in the days, but I can't remember AstroTurf doing this much damage to ACLs and PCLs and all that stuff. Granted, the
Achilles.
AstroTurf was rough when people fell on it, but bro, I don't recall AstroTurf doing this much damage to knees.
Yeah, yeah. All right, you guys want to move into the let's move into the boxing segment.
Nah, man, hold on, bro, because I have to get my stuff off about Dak Prescott's contract. I'm not a happy guy about that,
Okay.
bro.
All right, go
I'm
ahead.
I'm
Go
not.
ahead.
I, listen, I'm
Hang
no
on.
hater. I'm no hater.
What do you think about Dak's contract?
But I just
What are
don't
you gonna what do you
understand,
have?
bro. You have Dak Prescott. He's 0-5 in the playoffs. He's 0-5 overall. He's 0-5 in divisional games. He's 2-5 in overall. Those two games were wild card games, bro. He's thrown an interception in every single playoff game that he's ever been in. So he has a total of 7 playoff games, and he's thrown an interception in every single one. He's supposed to be an upgrade from Tony Romo. Tony Romo was 2-4 in the playoffs. He's 2-5. Where's the difference? Last year he was the
Those guys don't play defense.
listen, bro. Last year he was the number 2 seed. He was the number 2 seed. Home field advantage. He got blew off the map by a first-year starter in Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers in your home stadium. In your home stadium.
But he
And the
doesn't stop the
very
run.
next year,
He doesn't play defensive tackle and he doesn't play
oh
linebacker.
my gosh.
And he
Oh
puts
my
up I
God.
mean when you put up 30 points a game, he won 12 games every year
Oh.
almost. I mean, so
Tony
he's
Romo
got
was
winning
winning games
seasons.
every year. Him and
And
T.O.
Tony
That's my
and
quarterback.
and I'll
I
say this,
mean,
I'll say Tony Romo didn't have defenses along with his team.
oh my gosh. Bro, the Cowboys was killing the league in takeaways with Diggs.
Diggs got hurt last year though.
But bro, at some point, bro,
So
you
did
have
Deron Bland.
oh gosh, Jared. Oh,
I mean, I'm serious.
you
That's what happened. I mean, how many rushing yards did the Green Bay Packers have last year in that game? I
Aaron
mean, do you
Jones
want?
he has a field day every chance he plays against him.
But that has
Whose fault
nothing
is
to do
that?
with Dak Prescott.
Listen,
They have a new quarterback, and Zimmer's a good coach, man. I think Zimmer's going to make the right changes, and they already. I mean, maybe it's the Browns aren't that good. I don't know.
remember that guy that I
We'll see what
told you
happens when they play the Saints. I think the Saints are a better team. But Zimmer's a hell of a coach as far as defensively. When now he was in Minnesota, he always had a good defense. He was a defensive coordinator. That's where he started. But I do think that Zimmer's going to get that defense going. To not be able to stop the run in the NFL, you can't win games, man.
Where's that guy,
And
Micah Parsons, that they're talking about? Where's that guy?
well,
I mean,
that's
I
what I'm
know he's
saying.
a
That's what
great
I was
pass
saying.
rusher, but bro, you need to
They
step it
added
up altogether.
now.
One of the
Zimmer
top
brought
5
down Eric
defensive linemen in the
Kendricks.
league.
Zimmer brought Eric Kendricks with him from Minnesota. That's a Pro Bowl player. I mean, and he
Oh,
already
I
had an
know all
interception
about
this
him.
week.
We had to play against him every year, twice a year.
Yeah, that's a hell of a player. He already took an interception last week. He made some. He was pretty effective in the game. They were calling his name all day. Same thing with that kid Overshawn. So I think it's a pretty bright future for Dallas. Now we'll see. I mean, this is early. One game doesn't mean the whole year, but
Oh no, most
um,
certainly.
So anyway,
So what
well,
you saying, JD? You saying they're gonna look the same as they did before? Look good during the regular season and then shit the bed in the playoffs? What you trying to say?
Bro, it's pretty much like the 49ers, bro. Between the Cowboys and the 49ers, the Cowboys are going to look good all season. The 49ers are going to look good all season. They're going to get to the playoffs. They're going to get to the Super Bowl, and they're going to lay down. I mean, between those two teams, bro, they just don't have the answers. They just don't. The Cowboys don't have the
I
answers with
mean,
getting out of the first round.
come on, man.
Niners
How
don't
many
have the answers
teams?
Hey,
with getting
I
over
ain't gonna lie.
the
I'm a
division.
Cowboys fan. That's accurate though. That's accurate. I'm that's accurate, bro.
Well, I don't agree with the Niners. I mean, they went to the damn Super Bowl. They were one play away from beating the fucking Ravens, man.
Oh,
You can't say that
they
about the
went from beating
Niners.
the
The
Ravens.
Niners,
They were one,
how many teams?
they were one
There's a
play
lot
away
of
from
other
beating the
teams.
Ravens. They had the Chiefs down. Couldn't finish the deal with the Chiefs. At what point do we start calling the Niners out on their bullshit? You
Come
have
on,
all
man.
these weapons.
At least they get to the Super Bowl. How many teams haven't even sniffed the Super Bowl? The
So,
Bengals,
oh my
I
God,
mean, they
since
went to
when
the
did
Super
that
Bowl, but
become the
before that,
goal,
it was like 25 years.
Jared?
I
Since
get it. You got to win you want to win a Super Bowl, but what I'm saying is, at least they're getting there. The more you have a
right.
better chance of winning a Super Bowl when you can actually get there.
So let me ask you this,
A
Jared.
lot of teams they don't have a shot in hell of getting to the damn Super Bowl. I'll
Jared,
tell you that right now. The Carolina Panthers are probably done for the year already.
you know
You
what
could
though?
probably count them out from the playoffs.
Hey, check this out. Let me ask you something, Jared. The Carolina Panthers and the 49ers, right? They both are in the same exact season. One team doesn't make the playoffs, one team makes the Super Bowl. Neither team wins, right? Guess what happens? Carolina picks first, 49ers pick 30. So you're going to keep going far to pick 30 for
So
what reason?
well, now look at it like this. So every single game you play in the playoffs is an additional
You
game
get
check for
money.
your.
I get it. Bro, listen.
I mean, your resume. If your resume is the Carolina Panthers, if that's the team you participated in, they're picking number one every year versus a team that has a shot at the Super Bowl, that's contending for a Super Bowl every year. That's the resume you want. That's you're gonna get picked up by other teams because you're like, this dude is part of a winning organization, a winning program. If you're part of those scrubby teams that are picking first every year, come on, man, that's a no brainer.
Do you think Dan Marino cares about his freaking playoff wins or do he wish he had a Super Bowl ring?
Oh, everybody wish they had a Super Bowl.
Thank you. That is
Everybody
my
wish they had a
point.
Super Bowl.
That is my
But
point.
you're not. I mean, when you talk about the Niners, dude, they're still contending every year.
Oh my gosh, bro. My
That's what I'm
grandmother
saying.
goes, my grandmother plays bingo every Wednesday. She hasn't won shit. But she plays.
You got to. Well, maybe you should Maybe you should pay for your grandma, man. That's be a decent Go be a decent grandson, Jeff.
Every Wednesday, my
All right, you ready for
grandmother is
boxing
at
or
the
what?
bingo hall.
I've been watching highlights over your shoulder for the last 20 minutes. So, wait, you ready for this or what?
Oh man, let's take it over to boxing, man. We have a big week. We have a big week in boxing, man. We have Canelo versus Berlinga. He has a good undercard going on. So check it, man. I know everyone wants Benavidez. I know everyone is saying, hey, we're going to boycott. We're not going to watch Canelo fight. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. No, you're not. You're going to tune in just like you've been tuning in. Everyone's going to tune in to the fight, whether you're streaming it, buying it, whether you're friggin' going to the match, you're going to watch it. So I don't want to hear all this what you're going to boycott or not. We don't got Canelo and Benavidez. We got Canelo and Berlinga. That's what we got. We got Canelo and Berlinga. We got the Mexican and Puerto Rican rivalry. That's a big rivalry in boxing. Everyone knows that. Berlinga, he's a young upcoming fighter out of Brooklyn. 22 fights. He has 17 KOs. 16 of those is by the first round. 16 of those fights are by the first round. Now, what I will say is, 2 fights ago, he had a tough night out. He had a fight with Alexis Angula where he actually tried to bite Angula out of frustration. It was a controversial win. Quite a few people have Berlinga actually losing that fight. So if he was able to get frustrated during that fight with Angula, I just don't understand how he plans to keep his composure against Canelo. I just personally don't see it. But what I will say is I have a couple keys to victory for him. The first thing that he has to do, he can't show Canelo respect, bro. Like he cannot go in there. He can't show Canelo that he's his idol, that he just worships him, and oh man, I'm just glad to be here because that's what Charlo did, and it was a lackluster fight, bro. We thought Charlo was gonna give us more. He really didn't. Um, he's gonna have to bag early rounds. It took Canelo some time to get going with his last fight with Jaime Munguia. He ended up getting a knockdown in like the fifth or sixth round. It took him a little minute to get going, but he's gonna have to bag those early rounds. The earlier he can bag those rounds, get his confidence going, show Canelo that he doesn't respect him, I think it'll look good for him. He's gonna want to have to try to put on a show for the fans because regardless if he wins or lose, if you put that show on for the fans, they're gonna want to see you again. Don't just go out there collect the check. Charlo went out there collected a check. We haven't heard from him since. We haven't heard from him since. He collected the check. No one even wants to see him. So I don't understand that one. Um yeah, so another thing. Um Berlinga has bad habits. He has a bad habit where he likes to throw this bow and arrow jab. He throws his jab and he has his left hand, his right hand, I should say, way back here on his ear. Canelo's gonna peep that. Canelo's gonna feed off of that. He's probably gonna catch him with an overhand or he's gonna catch him with an uppercut. He has to be more tight with that jab. He can't be throwing out that bow and arrow jab, bro. Like he can't. Like check out an example right here. Go back to the other clip for me, bro. Go back to that other clip. Um, he has a he has a bow and arrow jab where he likes to have his right hand and he overextends it and is like, bro, he has to do something about that. Take a look right here. Even right there, even when he throws his cross, he's overextending, he's dropping his hand right there. Rewind that for me and pause it. Rewind that jab for me. Rewind that jab for me and pause it. So right there, he overextends. His way back here. His whole chin area is open. Canelo has the option of even just catching him with the uppercut or even deciding whether he want to go with the overhand. It's up to Canelo. Whatever Canelo decides he wants to do in that fight, he's probably going to do it. Another thing, even though he has to have a high work rate. He has to have a high work rate in this being you want to try to get your stuff up. You want to please the crowd, but what he can't do, even though he needs to have a high work rate, he can't get overly aggressive because Canelo has this thing where he likes to lays on the rope. He likes to lay on the rope. He likes to stay in a high guard, and while he's in a high guard, he likes to let his opponents get off the flurries. Now, in those flurries, Canelo has the tendency to try to pick his sneaky shots in between your punches, you're throwing your flurries, you're thinking you're getting your shit off. Oh man, I'm really landing some stuff, and boom, he has a tendency to just sneak you with uppercut. He can't get overly aggressive. That's where Canelo messed up with Bivol. During the Bivol fight, Canelo laid against the ropes. Bivol kind of had a quick flurry, caught him with a couple jabs, then he got out. Canelo tried to lure him back in. Bivol shook his head, said, "Nope, I'm not coming back in there." He has to go in there and fight his fight, bro. He has to go in there and fight his fight. But overall, bro, just honestly and truly, I really just don't see Berlinga winning this fight. He does pack a punch. He has power. In boxing, everyone has a puncher's chance, bro. I'm never gonna say anyone in the boxing ring just has absolutely zero chance. Especially if you have some type of power. Bro, he has 17 KOs, 16 by the first round. He has a puncher's chance. But I just don't see him beating Canelo, bro. Canelo has fought some of the toughest opponents. He's even fought Triple G, someone who has crazy power, and Triple G wasn't even able to get a knockdown with Canelo. So if he wasn't able to even get a knockdown off Canelo, I just don't see Berlinga being able to go in there and get a knockdown. And I've also seen Berlinga get his head clipped off and spinning from way lesser opponents, way lesser opponents. So imagine
What
what
what's what
Canelo's going to do to him.
What do you got right now though? Who do you think? What's your expectation? Do you think it's going to be a knockout? You think it's going the distance? What round? If so, what round do you think he's going down in?
Most certainly, bro, it's definitely going to be a knockout. Canelo is not going to let that guy last with him. He did let Jaime Munguia last with him because he actually likes Jaime Munguia. You could tell that he carried Jaime Munguia through the rest of the fight. But Berlinga was doing a little trash talking at the press conference, and Canelo didn't really like that too well. So I can pretty much guarantee that he's gonna stop him. Now, when he chooses to stop him, is going to be on him because Canelo did say he wants to punish him. He said he wanted to. He's like, bro, I'm going to punish you. So Canelo might actually toy with him for a little bit, probably catch him with some body shots and stuff like that. He wants him to feel it, bro. I don't think he really likes Berlinga too much due to the trash talking. So it's up to Canelo, but I can pretty much guarantee, bro. I don't think it's going to go past the 10. Canelo's going to get him out of there. He's going to punish him, make
Yeah.
him feel it, and he's going to get him up out of there. The odds for the knockout is actually minus 325 on Bovado. So if you have the Bovado app, you minus 325 for the fight to either not go the distance or Canelo by knockout, you get it for 325. Other than that, bro, if you try to take Canelo for the win, it's minus 1600. I don't think that's worth betting on. So,
Not worth. Ain't
yeah,
worth
it's
it.
not even worth it.
Yeah. Bet 1,600, win 100.
Yeah.
All right, y'all ready? So I'm ready now. I'm ready to move into the picks of the week. You guys ready for the? I'll go first with these picks of the week. So these are my picks. These are the picks that I'm going to be putting my own money on. Not just I know all the talking heads on ESPN. They make these wild picks. They have these losing records, and no, they're not putting any money behind it. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to go with the Dolphins. They're going to be minus 2.5 over the Bills in Miami. That's a Thursday night game.
Mhm.
I got the now the Bills. They never replaced Diggs, and the defense is a lot weaker. Their best linebacker, Matt Milano, he's already out for the season. He was out for the season, starting in the preseason. So second game, I have the Cowboys. They're minus 6.5 over the Saints. That's going to be in Big D. I think Dak looks great already this year. Like, we had Tyler Guyton. We already talked about Eric Kendricks, DeMarvion Overshawn. I think there's a lot of bright spots on that team. I think they're going to win. It's going to be the first game in Dallas. The place is going to be rocking. I think it's going to be a big game. I have the Chargers minus 6.5 in Carolina. Like I mentioned earlier, Derek Brown, he's a defensive tackle. He's probably the best defensive player in Carolina. He's already out for, I believe, the year. And so I expect a heavy running game, courtesy of brother John. He's going to have that ex-Ravens backfield running heavy against that defensive line in Carolina. I think it's minus 6.5 easy. Last NFL game I have the Chiefs minus 6 at home against the Bengals. The Bengals are nowhere near ready for the season. I think the locker room is a little rattled right now. I don't think that they're firing on all cylinders. They may get it together. I don't know, but obviously they're a significantly better team than what showed up last week. So moving to college, I only have 2 college picks. My 2 college picks, I have Colorado State plus 7 at home against Colorado. There's no Shiloh left. The Buffs have been getting dominated on the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. If you can't control the line of scrimmage at all, it's really difficult to win. I think plus 7 for Colorado State's generous. Now remember, that's the game where Travis Hunter got knocked out last year. Everyone said it was a dirty hit. He may want some revenge. He may play out of his mind.
Nah,
We'll
man,
see.
him
Shiloh.
and the guy actually spoke, man. They're cool.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you took away some film, and he missed some big games. I believe he missed what games did he miss? Did he miss Oregon, or he missed
No,
USC, or
he
one of those
missed a
games? He
big
missed a
game.
couple
I think it
games.
was a USC game.
Yeah. So my last pick of the week. Now this might just be a homer pick. I got Boston College. They are plus 17. Now Boston College is number 24. They're going to Missouri. Missouri's number 6. I know Missouri has like the number 1 rated pass defense. I think it's based on stats that are not realistic. Missouri has only played Buffalo and Murray State. So their statistics are
Yeah, but
they haven't played anybody.
they're minimizing that Boston College win because Florida State they lost right after that. So what does that say about Boston
Uh,
College?
I don't know, but Boston College won 56-0 last week. You know what I mean? So They,
Yeah,
they
I'm
beat
just
they beat nobody's too. They can dominate nobody's too. Anybody can, if you're in the top 25, you should be dominating nobody's. And I think 17 points is generous. If it was 7 points, I'd be like, you know what, I'm not going to do it. But plus 17, I think they're good enough to stay within 17 points. That's why I'm picking that one. I usually don't try not to bet on my own team, but 17 points is a lot. Just like it was a lot for Boise State, and Boise State pulled it out. Now they didn't win out overall; they won for me because they were plus 19. So I think it's going to be a similar game. I think it'll be a close game if nothing else, within at least a score, maybe two. But 17 points is 3 scores for those of you who are not good at math. But what do y'all have? What do y'all have, Jamal? What do you have for picks?
What do I have? I had UNLV over Kansas,
What's the spread there?
+7. Or
UNLV is +7 over
yeah,
Kansas.
yeah. Well, they're Kansas's favorite,
Okay,
but I think UNLV will cover.
all right.
What else?
That's your. What
Huh?
else you got?
I
What
only
else you
had 2
got?
this week.
What was your other one?
What was my other one? Let me see. I gotta look it up.
I might also add. I mean, we talked about this before we start taping, but I think I'm probably going to add possibly 2. I might go with the Colts. Now, I don't know what the spread is on that Colts game, but with Jordan Love being out,
No,
Jeff,
bro.
did you know what's the spread? What's the spread on that Colts
I think it was
Packers game?
I think it was like 3, if I'm not mistaken. It was like 3. It was
Yeah,
close, bro.
that's
It wasn't nothing far off. It was like 3. Let me double check real
yeah.
quick.
Uh, I got
Yeah,
the
it was 3. It
Chargers.
went a 3.
I got the Chargers -6.5, and
Oh, all right. Yeah, we got the
UNLV
same one.
UNLV +7. Yeah.
Jeff, what you got for picks this week?
All right, man. So I got a 4. I have a 4 pick, man. So I got the Washington Commanders. They have a home game this week. I have them. It's only a 1.5 spread against the Giants. I'm just not a firm believer in Daniel Jones, bro. I don't care who he plays. I'm always against that guy. So I got to watch the Commanders with the spread. Then I also have the Canelo knockout -325, and then I also have 2 other money line picks because it's -260. So I'm pretty cool with those odds. That's the Cowboys over the Saints and the 49ers over the Vikings. I think those 4 right there between the Washington Commanders spread, the Canelo by knockout, and the Cowboys and 49ers money line. I think you have a good 4 pick right there. Like you could
Yeah,
lay,
I like.
you could lay some big money down on that.
Yeah, I like that. How much? What's the spread on the Niners? You know what it
Oh, it
is?
was like 6.5 or something. Let me double check.
Yeah,
It was like 6.5.
yeah. I think I like that one too. I like the Commanders pick too.
Yeah, it's
I like the
6.
Commanders pick.
It's 6.
I
I
don't
might
know,
be
dude.
laying.
I
I'm laying them down all over the place this week.
Yeah.
I
All
gotta
right.
But I mean, that's a nasty 4 pick right there, bro. I just don't see how you go wrong with that.
get a
Yeah.
little deeper into the season before I start trusting these teams.
All right. That's all we got for the show. So, till next week, we'll see how we do.
All right. Well, you gotta tell them to like, subscribe, share,
Like,
comment, all that.
subscribe, share, comment, everything.
For sure, man. Comment, leave your feedback, man. All feedback is acceptable, bro. Whether it's positive, negative, we're definitely gonna read the comments. So please leave your feedback.
We're here every week, every Wednesday. We post.